Okay, what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to work with a vocal part you're not loving. Um, Now, it's always best to get the take right on the first try, but um, on this, I've what I've done is this is what I've recorded for the second verse here. Okay, so this is like how the second verse comes in. It's I think about her every day and night. Um, and at her, I'm having trouble hitting the her the way I want it to. I keep hearing like this honky little and I keep trying to like re kind of like mix how I'm gonna like redo how I'm singing it, and I can't quite get that honky noise out of my voice. And then when I try to do I've tried a few other different ways of singing this, like I think about her every day and night, like something like that could work. But I like how it comes in, because like the idea with the song is I'm going with more of like a chorus verse chorus verse chorus, and then we're to the end flow. So I'm kind of looking at the second verse as like like we're building to the final chorus, as opposed to like you usually have like a bridge that builds to the final chorus. Like the second verse, we're kind of coming in that way. And so like I want to pop in the second chorus with a little bit more energy. So like I think about her every day and night, but like when I'm recording this, I can't quite get that her out of there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in some harmonies. And so I mean, these aren't even necessarily all the way harmonies, but it's kind of like I'm filling in the vocal, the range of harmonics around the vocal. So I'm gonna do, I think about her every day and night. And I got some auto tune on that. I'll talk about that in a second here. This one, I think about her every day and night. So like a few different takes, like a couple different like subtle takes, and then I'm gonna pan this one to let's make this the left hand. So I've talked about this in a previous video, but when you're working with like backing vocals, harmonies, doubles, how I like to look at it is like you have like your main vocal is panned just straight to the center. So you're not going to pan the main vocal left or right. You kind of keep the main vocal in the center. And then as you kind of fill in with like vocal leads or harmonies or fills or anything like that, you pan those to the left and the right. So I've got two to the left and and these two are going to go to the right here a little bit. So we're going to pan these. And so the idea is that I'm going to kind of try to hide that her noise by putting in like I think about her every day. So it's good. So I'm going to have one part singing that her, and then the other part kind of filling in the lower end of the vocal spectrum. And I'm going to try to blend it a little bit better too here. So okay, let's listen to this. Okay, so here, I'll loop this quick here. Okay, so now you kind of maybe I'm off on this. Maybe you're hearing this and you don't agree with me, but I can kind of hear that the parts that I'm putting in there are kind of bringing the vocal, are kind of adding kind of like more of a low end to that vocal, so that her isn't quite so abrasive. So I kind of like where this is going. I've kind of mixed this a little bit beforehand. I'm not doing this straight up. So I kind of like made it so this video would sound the way I wanted it to. But I've kind of done a little bit of mixing. You can kind of go into like if you're working with like a compressor or like an equalizer as well too. I'll talk a little bit more about equalizers and compressors on a different video. I also would recommend just watching a video on equalizers and compressors, because by someone smarter than me, because those are kind of complicated tools to work with, and I kind of only sort of get them. But these videos are kind of a little bit more meant to be if you want to record your own stuff yourself and you're just kind of getting into the game of it. How would you do it? And that's kind of where I'm going with this. So it does sound a little. That does make it when you bring in that extra like part, and you're working with stuff. You're doing an auto tune on multiple different parts. It's gonna sound pretty auto tuney. That would be the one thing I would caution you on for doing this kind of little vocal hiding technique. But the song I'm working on is like, I mean, I'm like a couple hairs away from just a straight boy band song at this point, and so I'm pretty okay with an auto-tune presence on the song. So I'm cool with it, but not everyone likes auto-tune. If you don't want your songs to have a real big auto-tune sound in it, I would maybe recommend taking the auto-tune off like that kind of like harmony section you're working with. So because the auto tune is going to kind of catch the low end and catch the high end, so you're going to kind of get like a very auto tuney sound. I don't know for sure if this is what T-Pain does, but I kind of think this might be one of the ways he gets that kind of like real like auto tuney sound out of his voice, where he's kind of singing both the harmony and the main vocal with auto tune, and then it kind of catches his whole vocal range, and so it sounds like that real like present auto tune sound. I can even kind of hear that in this mix, but again, like I'm kind of going for it. I'm kind of going for that kind of a vibe too for this song.